Great. Question number 3 was actually about the devil and demons, and if demons can't increase and multiply, if there's the same quantum, the same number of demons today than there was 2,000 years ago, why does evil increase? It's actually a really good question, and let me try and unpack that a little bit. Firstly, I think it would behoove us to have some humility about what we know about the devil. There are things we know about Satan, and probably a little less that we know about demons. And there's much we don't know, and it can be fun to speculate. I'm not really that into demons, but we can speculate, but we shouldn't confuse our speculation for Bible truth. I think most people I know would believe that, Lucifer fell and took, some people say a third of the angels. It actually doesn't say that in that sense, but let's say he took a third of the angels with him in this rebellion, and most people would say that demons are fallen angels. Now, again, to me, that's one of those third level truths I spoke about earlier. I'm not staking a claim on that. There could be other explanations of who demons are, but I would agree with the premise that demons are there in the world, and that I'm not sure I would agree with the premise of the question that evil is increasing per se. Here's how I look at that. Here's what I think's going on. Classically in theology, we talk about 3 things that are attacking us or influencing us: the world, the flesh, and the devil. And we could include demons when we talk about the devil. The world, the flesh, the devil. So here am I, a new creation, and I'm walking with Jesus. And as I walk with Jesus every day, to some degree, the world, the flesh, and the devil will pull at me, will try and influence me, will try and distract me from that walk with God. So I would actually agree. I don't think there's any more demons in that sense. I think what we often do is mistake the role of demons. So I don't think Satan wants to possess anybody. I don't think Satan can make people sin. I think Satan has far less power than we think he has. I think Satan has the power of suggestion, has the power to tempt, if you will. Like Jesus in the wilderness, he'll come and he'll suggest things to us. But then we have the choice over those things. I think, in one sense, I would say this. I think human beings today are just as evil as they've ever been. I think the same foolishness, the same pride, the same murder, the same lust, the same godlessness, the same idolatry. I think if you went back right to, Adam and Eve and Cain and Abel and Seth and all the way through, David is looking at Bathsheba. I think guys and ladies today do the same thing. I think in one sense, we in our fallen nature are exactly the same people we were. And I don't think we're more evil, and I don't think we're less evil. One of the dangers, and we're seeing this played out in the Ukraine right now, is over time, we begin to forget how evil we really are, or leaders can be, and what happens when you give a leader power. One of the good things about America is the founding fathers of America didn't want a king, they tried every which way they could to make sure that we divide the power up between different branches of government, that we wouldn't let any president stay in there too long, because they all seem to believe in themselves a little bit too much. If I was president and I was there for 50 years, it would get really, really weird. You'd all be drinking tea all day long, by decree. So I think what the founding fathers of America did was actually set up a system so there wouldn't be a Vladimir Putin. Hello. But my point is, if we actually accept that evil in the heart of men and women, mankind, has never changed, I think we've never changed. I think that's the flesh part, if you will. I think there is still the same amount of devil and demons. I think the only thing that's changed is the world. And by that I mean, I think what Satan has successfully done in so many ways is to infiltrate the culture and try to form and shape and create a culture where we promote and we celebrate sin rather than eschew it. I would say, if you look historically, let's look at America or England, just 2 countries I'm familiar with. If we went back 100 years or 200 years, the same sin going on today went on there. But society, there was the yeast, if you will, of the gospel was having a greater effect in society. So 100 years ago, were there young men getting their girlfriends pregnant? Yeah, absolutely. Just exactly the same as today. People aren't more lustful today than they were then. The difference is, though, if you lived in a little village, you couldn't get away with getting your girlfriend pregnant and just running off to another town, or saying, hey, I'm not interested in that. Society would come down on you both through the law, actually more through kind of social pressure, and you'd be ostracized if you didn't marry that girl. Now, I'm not even saying that's always the best thing to do. I'm simply saying there was like a societal pressure. If you were to look at many sins, many different things, there were, it would have been illegal to publish books that today we would, consider like the Disney Channel, and some of the things that we're putting in front of kids these days would have just been outlawed. Absolutely. So I think what Satan has done well is tweaked culture over time, education. We can talk about the 7 mountains, if you will, and got us to a place where we encourage it, where we literally send our kids to sin school, so to speak, promoting things that we wouldn't have tolerated, that society would have come down on, let's say 100 years ago. So I think that's the reason there's more sin. Not that the nature of man has changed, or woman. Not that there's more of Satan. I don't think in one sense with demons, that there's like one demon trying to attack every little person, whisper in their ear. Rather, Satan tries to set up this system, if you will, a culture of godlessness that makes it easy to do things that are godless. If you're in a culture where there's alcoholism everywhere, people are drinking, there's no social boundaries whatsoever around that, if you have a problem with alcohol, you're going to do that a lot more in a culture that looks down on that. I'm not saying you can't do that without that culture, but culture promotes sin, or promotes godliness. Boom. So I think that's why we're seeing evil increase. I would say we have a dual mission of preaching the gospel, in a way preaching the eternal salvation of Jesus, but also of changing, of being salt and light in the culture. I think evangelicals get the first one very well, but we haven't done a good job of promoting godly values and actually saying how we, God's ways of living do really well. And I think there should be this reformation of godliness in society that's coming through there. I'm not sure we're completely on track to do that yet, but that would be the goal, I would say. Boom.